afternoon, everyone. I hope you're all doing well, that you're having, that you had a lovely week and that you're having a lovely weekend so far. My name's Emily and welcome to MemilyMakes. Today I am going to do I'm just looking at all the stuff that I have around me. I'm going to do my March monthly wrap up. I know it's late, but I wanted to make sure, because my recording schedule, I record on Wednesdays because Wednesdays are my flexi day. And then I released the video for the monthly wrap up anyway on a Saturday. So I had to wait until March had ended before I could actually record the video because I don't know, I might shuffle that a bit, I'm not sure yet. But anyway, I have a couple of things to show you. It was quite a productive month, that, you know, all things considered really, because it was quite busy. But yeah, it was really productive for me. I was very pleased. So mine's jumping away with me at the minute. I've been working most of the morning and I had some errands to run, so my mind is still not quite here, but we're getting there. So I'm going to start off with my finished objects for the month of March. There were quite a few, but I'm going to start off with my free pass. So what my free pass was this lovely headband. So this is a finished object, but it was a free pass that I gave myself in March because Toft were running a Learn Tunisian Crochet along, and this was the result of that. It was a week long week long. There were videos, tutorials. I can't figure out the word I'm trying to come out with, but you know, there we go. So it was a week long event. We'll go with event. And at the end of the 5 tutorials, there were 5 throughout the week, we ended up with a lovely headband. So yeah, I'm really pleased with this make. I'm going to bring it closer to the camera. The colour that I used was Hyacinth, Toft DK Hyacinth, and it's beautiful. I'm really pleased with it. I like the colour. The only thing about it is, for me, in terms of a headband, it's a bit wide. So if I was to make this again, I would make it probably half the width, probably like that. But absolutely brilliant, loved it, but it was a free pass, so it doesn't class in terms of my finished objects. Right, so on to the finished objects that do count. I've just realised one has snuck in here that shouldn't be there, so I'm going to move it. But right, so I'm not sure how many of you know. If you're new here, you probably won't know, but I have a lot of works in progress, and part of my wishes for 2023, one of my aims I suppose, is to get my whips down. And the only way I could think to do that was fair to me, because I love casting new things on, the only way I could figure to do that was I had to finish 2 works in progress before I could actually cast anything new on. So that means that by the time I cast something new on, at least, you know, 1 whip is out of the whip pile. That's been my plan. It's working quite well so far, although I do have a question for you at the end of this podcast, if I remember. So if I don't remember, please ask me in the comments, because I'm not even sure I wrote it down. I'm gonna write it down quickly. Bear with me. But yeah, nothing like last minute changes. But you know. Anyway, so last month, at the end of February's wrap up, I had a total of 17 works in progress. Now, I am trying to get it under the 2 digits, so if I can get it under 10, that'd be great. I'm not sure entirely when I'm going to stop doing. I've got to finish 2 so I can cast on a project. I'm not sure yet, but I feel like I have projects everywhere at the minute, and it would be nice to cut that down a bit. I'm just looking at my craft trolley. Make my craft trolley a bit more functional, because at the minute it has turned back into a dumping ground, but that's just because of the nature of the projects that are on there. They're big projects, so there's not really a lot I can do about that. The space is going to be limited, at least until I can finish these big projects. By the side of the sofa, well, in front of the sofa by the coffee table, there's a lot of projects sitting around as well, so I really want to get those works in progress down, and then I can start figuring things out from there. So I think it's going to continue for the near future, at least until I can get it under the 10 mark, really. But anyway, digress a bit. end of February was 17 works in progress. Now that included paused whips as well and problem whips. So how am I doing? In March, I actually frogged one of my works in progress. It was a plan to frog it anyway, I just hadn't done it, so I was still counting it as a work in progress. Now I've frogged that project, that puts me down to 16. It's alright, I've got numbers, but I've got the wrong numbers, I don't know why. So I've gone from 17 to 16 with those frogged items. Now, on to the finished objects for the month of March. I did touch upon a couple of these last week in my weekly podcast, and the other one I will be touching... No, that's not right. Have I got another one this month? I don't think I have, actually. No, I don't think I do. I'm jumping ahead. Excuse me. Brain is working far too fast for everything else. But anyway, I finished 2 of my Toft gifts. So all the Toft gifts are finished. I will briefly bring them up, similar to what I did last week in my weekly podcast. I won't show the front of them, I'll just show the back, and it'll be a quick show. But I will be showing 3 because there were 3 in total, but 2 of them are being counted as finished objects in the month of March. So these are those Toft items. Very cute. They were fun, but also, yeah, I'm not the best with with amigurumi style items, purely because when it comes to sewing them up, I don't find it as fun. Sewing on face features and things like that, again, I don't find it as fun. But I think it's just one of those things I need to do a bit more because I've got a lot of Toft stuff to get on with. So that's 2 Toft items. So I'll scooch those over there. I'm not going to count again. I'll count at the end when I've shown you all the finished objects. Right, so, oh actually no, that's 3. I don't know what I'm talking about. Cactus socks, frogged, and 2 Toft items. Now, I do have some more items to show you. I finished off my wonderful As You Wish shawl. This just needed ends sewing in, but I was still counting it as a work in progress because technically it wasn't finished. So there we go. That's that one done as well. So that's another work in progress finished. If you do want to see more of this project, just have a look at my last week's video because I'm going to try my best to not run over on this video. Last week's video was long, so I'm going to try and keep them short. So, As You Wish project, shawl even, by Lyrical Knits, sorry. As You Wish by Lyrical Knits, I tied in all the ends, so that one is also finished in the month of May. Now, the final project that I finished in the month of May was my Lone Skein shawl by Joji Locatelli. This was done in my Centenary colourway, Apex Yarn Centenary. The As You Wish shawl was all tester yarns that I dyed, so that's why I haven't really touched upon that. But yes, so that was another finished project in the month of March. So those are all the finished projects for the month of March. As I say, I'm not counting the headband in my total because it wasn't counted when I cast it on. So that was a free pass. So what that leaves me with, so that's 1, 2, 3, 4 cacti socks, that's 5. So that's 5 finished objects for the month of March, which is wonderful. So that then puts me at 12 works in progress. I don't think it's ever been that low, I'm so happy. So that was 12 finished works in progress on the needles or on the hooks or whichever. So I also cast on 2 projects in the month of March. Excuse me, I'm just grabbing them because I've got them set up for my weekly podcast, but I haven't actually got them out the bags yet. I will just briefly show you these because I'm going to touch upon them in my weekly podcast, but I cast on the Mood Snood. As you can see, there's a lot, but you will have seen this. If you've seen my weekly podcast video this week, you will have seen this already, so this won't be a spoiler as to how much is here. But yes, I've been working very hard on my Mood Snood. I cast the Mood Snood on, so that adds another item into my whips pile. And I also cast on, I'm keeping it folded, actually you'll have seen it anyway, so I don't know what I'm doing. I did cast on this, which is the Disturbia. Have I got it backwards? I think I've got it backwards. Oh, I don't think it matters really, does it? There we go. I also cast on the Disturbia shawl by Hannah Goff as part of the Knit 365 crochet along or knit along, whichever you chose. There was a knit shawl and there was also a crochet shawl. I chose crochet because I don't crochet near enough, and this is an example as to why I should crochet some more. It is very long. I feel like my stitches were either too loose or not wide enough. I did swatch, but yeah, anyway, that's that one. The yarn is by the Little Grey Girl, and it's in the Disturbia colourway, which was the colourway that was dyed up for this specific make-along. The yarn for my mood snood is, I've got it here, Sheepies or Sheepgies, I'm never quite sure, Chunky Monkey in black and white. So that is the mood snood. So I was allowed to cast those two on because I had finished 5 objects. So that gave me 2.5 projects that I could cast on. So I cast on the mood snood and the Disturbia shawl. So that then puts me at 14 works in progress at the end of March, which is, yeah, I think it's working. It feels like it's working. It's really hard to not cast something on though, that's the only thing. So yeah, as of the end of March, I am on 14 works in progress. I'm just underlining it there because I'm so happy. So yeah, that's, I'm really pleased, really pleased. Now, I might change the way I do it in terms of gift knitting or gift crochet, purely because, I mean, I'm finished my gift items. I do have one more gift item that is on the crochet hook at the moment, but I'm going to frog that back and do it a bit later in the year when I've got my crochet game up a bit more. I feel confident enough to do it, but I'm just not feeling it at the minute. So I think it's probably best to do a couple of other little projects first and then attempt it again. But yeah, and all the projects that I have, so where I'm going with that train of thought is that most of the projects that I'm going to show you in a minute that I'm thinking of for the month of April, they're not gifts. There's one gift in there, and I have a backlog of gifts that I'd like to do. So I think I need to restructure how I'm doing my passes and my works in progress structure. So I'll have a think about that, and I will probably, hopefully, bring it up next month's wrap-up video. But what I'm thinking at the moment is allowing myself to have 2 gift items on the go at any one time. And they sort of, although they're counted in the total of whips, they're sort of kept a bit separate, similar to my Scrappy projects, which I'm about to show you because I've not shown you them since I cast them on. So, but that's what I'm thinking. Let me know what you think. I mean, I know it's up to me and my head and how it works for me, but I think that might be the best option for me at this time, because at the minute I'm not casting on gift projects, and as I say, I've got a backlog of them. Yeah, I think that's what I need to do. Yes. Anyway, on to the next section of this podcast. My Scrappy projects. So I've not shown you these, and I can't remember the last time I showed you them, but I do have 2 Scrappy projects on the go. One of them is the Battenberg blanket, so very small crochet squares. Bear with me. I'm just going to see if I can find one because I'm having a rummage. I did start this. This isn't good. I can't find one. Pull that out. I did start this, but I can't find one. But anyway, they are very small, probably about that big. Squares, crochet squares, granny square blanket. And my idea was to use smaller scraps in this blanket, but I can't find a square to show you, which is really strange. I don't know where they are. But I've not done many of the squares, and half of me is feeling there's going to be so many ends to tie in at the end of this blanket. And as we all know, tying in ends is not for me. I'm not a fan of it, and that's why projects get put aside for ages and don't get finished, because I can't tie the ends in. Which needs to change. I need to find a way to make it fun. But anyway, so that is why I'm not really doing a lot on it, because I'm kind of rethinking it. Is there any way I can use these small scraps? I mean, there isn't, is there? There's no way I can use these small scraps without having loads of ends to tie in, because they're small scraps. There are always going to be loads of ends. So I think I just need to get over it really and just crack on with the blanket, because it's going to be beautiful when it's done. I don't have the picture to show you, unfortunately, but the Battenberg blanket looks like a Battenberg basically, because it's got different coloured squares, and then in between the different coloured squares are like a pale colour is the picture anyway. Just a single solid colour dotted between all the colourful squares. So my plan is to completely ignore that structure because I'm not buying yarn for this blanket. I think the only time I will buy yarn for it is when I'm seaming all the squares together, because I think that would be nice to have all the squares connected by a single solid colour. Because the majority of colours, I say the majority of colours, and what I've got in this bag here, I'm hoping that's not reflecting to know, it's not too bad. This is a bad example, but all the colours that I used in my advent, all the advent colours that I got last year, I'm losing the plot. All the advent yarn from my calendar for 2022 from the Yarn Artist, they are heavily variegated. So a lot of the colours are going to be heavily variegated, and then they're going to be dotted with a couple of solid colours. So I'm not quite sure yet how it's going to go. I might end up with two blankets, one that's solid, more solid colours, less heavily variegated, and one with heavily variegated. I'm not sure yet. It's a massive work in progress, but unfortunately I can't show you it because I can't find the squares that I've made. Although thinking about it, I think the last time I showed you is probably all the squares. I already showed you anyway, because I've not done any since then. But that is one of my projects, Scrappy projects. Yeah, hopefully at the end of April I can actually organise myself a lot better and get it out and actually show you the squares that I've done, because I think obviously it'd be nice for you to see that, and then I can start doing progress a bit better. The other one I can show you, so the other Scrappy project that I have going at this moment is for larger scraps. Now I can't exactly remember how much, I think is it 14 grams? 14 or 13 grams. So any scraps that are 13 or 14 grams or higher, I will put into this blanket, do a stripe, and then put into the Battenberg blanket. So what I'm making is a granny stripe blanket. Let me get it out. Got it in these little sandwich bags because it's a long-term project and I don't want any creepies getting in there and eating the yarn. So yeah, it's just nice to keep it in there. So I'm currently working on colour 5 actually. So, oh my gosh, there's just yarn everywhere. This isn't good. There we go. So I'm actually working on colour 5 at the minute. It doesn't look like a lot because there's just not a lot there. But it's a very long blanket. It's going to be very big. And it's just going to be like a memory blanket as well. I'm quite excited to get this really going. So at the minute I've just got a couple of solid colours and then 2 colours that I've dyed up. This is actually leftover of my centenary colourway. That's not reflecting too much, which it is. There we go. That's the leftover of my centenary colourway, and that leftover there is actually from my As You Wish shawl. Another one I dyed up, but a tester. The other 2 are botanical yarn. They are leftovers from my, oh, what shawl was it? I don't think it was it might have been the Frank shawl. I feel like it was the Frank shawl, but I could be completely wrong. But anyway, I will have all of these noted anyway on my Ravelry. I am trying to keep it updated for this. But yeah, there's not a lot there at the minute. What I do have down here is a nice bag full of more leftovers ready to go in that blanket. So these are all of the colourways from my Botanical Yarn Twin Set and Pearl sock club from 2022. So these are all the socks that I've finished. These are all the leftovers from those socks that will go in that blanket. So I need to get a wiggle on with the socks so that I have all of these colours ready, because when I start with one, I want to do them in order of what they were, the months. Well, I'll see how we get on, because a couple of them are pretty close to each other. But anyway, those are to go in the blanket. Move that over there. There we go. So those are my Scrappy projects. I can actually put a progress marker in my granny stripe blanket now, so that'll be nice. And then I'll show you it next month. I'm not going to do it in my weekly podcast because I have a lot to cover in my weekly podcast, so I don't think it's such a good idea, including those 2, because they're just going to be chipped away at every so often. Nothing too fancy with those. Right, so I'm just looking down because I've got some April plans to show you. Now, you've seen 2 of these. There are 3 plans for April. Well, 4 actually. Oh, hang on a moment. There we go. I may as well show you this. So I've actually got 4 plans for April. The first plan, which is already in progress because we are in April now. So spoiler alert, although it won't be a spoiler because if you've seen my weekly podcast, you'll have seen these. But the first item that I will cast on once I have finished another object, which I have, spoiler alert again, I have finished another object, so I could cast these on, and I did. So here they are. These are the Very Veronica socks by Twinset and Pearl. The yarn is by Botanical Yarn, and this was August's instalment of the 2022 sock club. So I will be casting these on. I've missed socks so much. I always have a pair of socks on the needles at any one time. I always have at least 1 pair of socks on the needles, and I've not had it for about a month, and it feels weird. So it was like a breath of fresh air when I cast these on, I can tell you. So those have been cast on in the month of April. So that is a sort of a plan, but it's already put into action, if you like. Right, so the next plan, I'll start with this one, is I would really like to cast this on. So this is the Pink Fizz sweater by Andrea Mowry, and how beautiful is that? It is absolutely stunning, and I have all the yarn for this, and I think, I can't remember when it was, but I did mention that this would be my next cast on, and it wasn't. I think I've had about 4 cast ons in between saying that I'm going to cast this on next, and I didn't. So this will happen in April, it will, because I've got all the yarn, it's all here. I've got Debbie Bliss Rialto 4-ply and Drops Kid Silk, and that is the mohair, I believe. Yep, soft, luxurious, in Super Kid mohair and silk. Yeah. So those 2 colours will be merged together for this beautiful cardigan. Well, sweater, sorry, I hope. That will be cast on this month. This will be the next cast on once I've finished some other objects. But yes, April, bring it on. I'm ready. I can do this. Another cast on that I really would like to do in April, I'm not sure it's going to happen just because I don't know if I can finish all the projects. Enough projects, I should say, to be able to cast it on. But the next one is this one. The Find Your Fade shawl by Andrea Mowry, yet again. April will be the month of Andrea Mowry patterns. For me, anyway. But yeah. So I'm really looking forward to doing this one. I went through all of the colourways that I want to do. I really want to make it a celebration of West Green Loft yarns, just because they're absolutely stunning, and I think they would make a really, really, well, the ones that I have anyway, they would make a really beautiful, subtle fade. Now, since the last time I showed you all the colours that I want to use, yes, I still want to use them all, but I did find another colour, and it's this one. And this is Elizabeth Bennett by West Green Loft Yarn. And yeah, I'm not quite sure what to do because I think that actually works better than this one, which was the Rose Garden colourway. So I'm not quite sure yet. I'm going to have to do a bit more planning because this one's got more blue in it, and I think that would work. I'm not sure. Yes, I think it might be this one. I'm just putting it down there with all of them. Yeah, I think it might be, you know, I think that's going to work a bit better. So, oh, there we go. All the colours. So Elizabeth Bennett is, where is she? She's here, I think. Yeah, that's Elizabeth Bennett. So, yeah, I think that would fade quite nice with that one in there rather than the Rose Garden one. Because the Rose Garden one, it's lovely, but there's just a lot of green in it. So I think I can use it for something else. So, yeah, I've changed my mind. These things happen, don't they? And again, I mean, all these plans that I'm showing you now, they will probably change because I find something new to cast on and I want to cast it on. So yeah, but at the minute, yeah, that's how I want to do. I want to do Find Your Fade, and I have changed out one of the colourways. So I'm changing out Rose Garden and I'm changing it out for Elizabeth Bennett. That's the plan, she says, until she changes her mind next week. Anyway, and the final project that I'd like to cast on, so this is why I kind of want to restructure how I do my gift crocheting. And this is the question, I think. Is it? I think this is the question. I've completely forgot. I knew I would. I think this was my question. So my question is, should I restructure the way I'm doing my works in progress and have the 2 gift knits as, you know, as a separate thing, similar to my leftover projects? So although I have all these whips, 4 of them are going to be separate from the other works in progress. I mean, it's up to me really, isn't it? I think that was my question. I can't remember. But anyway, I think it should be, I think that's what I'm going to do. Yeah, I think that's what I'm going to do. So one of the other items that I'm going to cast on in April are these 2 lovely little fellas. One of them will be a gift and the other one is for myself, and they are by Toft. They are the mini axolotl, and they will be using these colours. So I've got that lovely colour, so that is pink, DK, Toft yarn, pink, and then the other colour I've got is this one, and that is peony. Again, DK, Toft yarn, so both of those to make the cute little axolotls. So one of them will be for my friend and the other one will be for me, so it'll be like friendship axolotls, very cute. But anyway, those are my plans for April. And yeah, as I say, I mean, the question that I had, I think, I mean, I'll have to go back and watch and double check that that is the question that I had in mind. My mind just drifts so easily. But yes, I think that is what I'm going to do going forward. I'm going to have the 2 leftover projects because they are their own thing. There's nothing around them really. They're just going to tick along because they are very long-term projects, so I don't need to worry about them. Gift-wise, I really think I need to have a separate whip rule for them. Although they're going to be counted in with my entire total, I think that's probably the best thing to do. So I think that's what I'm going to do. So it's not really much of a question, is it really? But anyway, I think that covers everything for the monthly wrap-up. So I went from 17 works in progress down to, I'm just double checking my number, down to 14 works in progress as of the end of March. So I'm very, very pleased. That is really helping me out a lot. It is working, and it's working in a way that I think is really encouraging to me, because I know that I can still cast things on. I just need to get a move on with other projects that are sitting around. I still have a lot of paused whips, and now that I am getting down the projects that I'm really excited about, I'm running out of projects to be able to finish off. All of my easy wins are ending, so I really need to start focusing on a lot of those paused works in progress, which is good because I've not looked at them for ages. So I think that's going to be good. I say that hesitantly because I'm not sure yet. I haven't got there yet, so no guarantees. I might fall off the wagon as soon as I start trying to look at those paused whips. But I'm hoping that's not going to be the case. I'm hoping it will be a case of picking one up. I mean, I should probably just try and get a paused whip finished alongside these ones, because I do work on a lot of projects throughout the week. I get bored and I have to pick up something else. But yeah, so thank you so much for spending your time with me today. I hope all of that was interesting. And yeah, just thank you once again for your time, and I hope you have an amazing Easter weekend if you celebrate Easter. Yeah, just have an absolutely amazing weekend anyway, and I look forward to seeing you in my next video.